The evening air was heavy with the smell of rain and roasted corn from the street vendors. The city of Karachi shimmered beneath the drizzle, its streets crowded with tired faces heading home. Among them walked Zara, clutching her worn satchel close to her chest. At 22, Zara had already learned that dreams came with a price, and sometimes, that price was more than money. Her father's death had left the family in debt, and her mother's health had declined soon after. Zara balanced her days between college lectures and a part-time job at a stationery shop, her nights spent tutoring neighborhood children. But even hard work barely kept the lights on in their small, leaky apartment. That night, as she walked home, her sandals splashing through puddles, something caught her eye. A small black object lay half submerged at the edge of the sidewalk. She bent down and picked it up. It was a wallet, sleek, expensive leather, soaked but intact. Zara hesitated before opening it. Inside were several crisp notes, tens of thousands of rupees, and a gleaming credit card embossed with gold letters. There was also a business card. Greater than Arham Shah, CEO, Shah Industries Group. Zara's eyes widened. The name was instantly familiar. Arham Shah, the billionaire who had inherited his father's textile empire and turned it into one of the largest conglomerates in Pakistan. His face appeared often in business magazines, always sharp-suited and confident, the kind of man whose life was galaxies away from hers. She looked again at the money. Just one of those bills could buy medicine for her mother. A few more could pay her brother's school fees. And no one would ever know. But then she remembered her mother's voice, calm, tired, but unwavering. Greater than, Zara, we can be poor, but never dishonest. That's the one thing we can still choose. With a sigh, Zara tucked the wallet into her bag. The next morning, she took 2 crowded buses to the city's financial district, where Shah Industries headquarters rose like a glass tower above the smog. Security guards at the gate eyed her suspiciously. Her clothes were simple, a faded shalwar kameez, her sandals worn. I found this wallet yesterday, she said softly, holding it out. It belongs to Mr. Arham Shah. I want to return it. The guards exchanged looks. One of them chuckled. You think the CEO dropped his wallet in the street? I don't know, she said. But if it's his, he should have it back. After a few phone calls and skeptical glances, she was escorted into the cool marble lobby. Minutes later, a tall man in a navy suit approached. His presence was commanding but not arrogant. Sharp eyes, neatly trimmed beard, a watch that probably cost more than Zara's entire neighborhood. I'm Arham Shah, he said. You found my wallet. Zara nodded and handed it to him. He opened it, checked the contents, then looked back at her. Everything's here, he said quietly. You didn't take a single rupee. I wouldn't, she replied simply. Arham studied her face, searching for something, perhaps a flicker of greed, or guilt. He saw none, just quiet honesty and a trace of exhaustion in her eyes. You could have kept it, he said. No one would have known. I would have known, Zara replied. And that's enough. For the first time, Arham smiled. Most people wouldn't say that. He reached into the wallet and pulled out a few bills. At least take this as a reward. Zara shook her head. Thank you, sir, but I didn't do it for money. Before he could insist, she turned, thanked him politely, and left, disappearing into the morning crowd. Arham stood there for a long moment, staring after her. Then he smiled faintly, because what Zara didn't know was that the wallet hadn't been lost by accident. It had been a test. The following week, Zara was sitting in her classroom when her phone buzzed. The message was brief. Greater than, you are requested to attend an interview at Shah Industries. 10 a.m. tomorrow, HR department. Her heart skipped. An interview? She hadn't applied anywhere recently. Was it a mistake? Still, she decided to go. The next day, she arrived early, clutching her modest resume. A woman from HR welcomed her warmly and led her into a conference room. Minutes later, Arham himself entered. Zara froze. Sir. Arham smiled slightly. Good morning, Ms. Zara. I don't understand. I didn't apply for a job here. He gestured for her to sit. You didn't. I invited you. Her confusion deepened. That wallet you returned last week, he said, wasn't lost. I dropped it on purpose. It's something I do every few months, a test of character. Most people either ignore it or take the cash. You were the first in a long time to bring it back, untouched. Zara blinked, speechless. So, it was a test. Yes, he said simply. And you passed. He leaned forward slightly. I want honest people in my company. People who do the right thing even when no one's watching. We have a new internship program for underprivileged students, and I think you'd be perfect for it. Zara's throat tightened. You're offering me a job. An internship, he corrected, smiling. Paid, and if you perform well, a full position afterward. Tears welled in her eyes. Sir, I don't know what to say. Say you'll take it, he said. She nodded quickly, unable to hide her trembling smile. Months passed. Zara adapted quickly, her sharp mind and sincerity earning her respect among colleagues. Arham often observed her from afar, quietly impressed by her diligence. She never sought shortcuts, never complained, and often stayed late to help others. One evening, after a long day, Arham found her alone in the office, sorting through stacks of reports. You're still here? He asked. Zara looked up, startled. Just finishing this file, sir. I'll go soon. He smiled. You remind me of myself when I started. Hungry, not for money, but for purpose. She smiled shyly. I'm just grateful for the chance. Arham nodded. You earned it. He paused, then added softly, you taught me something that day, that integrity still exists, even in small, quiet corners of this city. Zara looked down, her heart full. Outside, the night lights of Karachi shimmered once more, reflecting on the glass walls of Shah Industries, the same city where a poor girl had once found a wallet in the rain and chosen honesty over hunger. And in doing so, she hadn't just passed a test. She had changed her destiny. The rain fell hard on Karachi that night, blurring the neon lights into rivers of gold and red. Zara, a 22-year-old college student, hurried along the sidewalk, her thin shawl clutched tight around her shoulders. Her shoes were soaked, her stomach empty, but her resolve, to finish her studies and pull her family out of poverty, burned quietly beneath her calm exterior. She had just finished a long evening of tutoring children in her neighborhood, earning enough for groceries but not enough for her mother's medicine. As she crossed the crowded street, something caught her eye, something dark lying near the curb, half submerged in a puddle. A wallet. Zara picked it up, shaking off the rainwater. The leather was smooth and expensive, unlike anything she had ever owned. When she opened it, her breath caught. Inside were crisp 1,000-rupee notes, several cards, and a single, gold-embossed business card that read, Greater than Arham Shah, CEO, Shah Industries Group. Zara blinked. Arham Shah. The name was everywhere, magazines, billboards, TV, interviews. A billionaire. The man who had transformed his late father's textile business into one of Pakistan's largest corporations. She looked again at the money. It was enough to change her week, maybe her month. She could pay her brother's school fees, buy medicine, maybe even a new pair of shoes. And yet, as temptation whispered, her mother's voice echoed in her memory. Greater than, Zara, honesty is the only treasure that never loses its value. Her chest tightened. She closed the wallet. The next morning, Zara boarded 2 overcrowded buses to the financial district, clutching the wallet like a secret. The glass towers of Shah Industries gleamed above her as she approached the gate, intimidated but determined. The security guards looked her over, worn sandals, faded clothes, and tired eyes. I found this, she said, showing them the wallet. It belongs to Mr. Arham Shah. One of the guards smirked. You think the boss just drops his wallet in the street? I don't know, she said quietly, but if it's his, he deserves to get it back. After some skeptical phone calls, they led her into the lobby, a world of marble floors and quiet wealth. Minutes later, a tall man approached, sharp in a tailored navy suit. His expression was composed, his gaze piercing. I'm Arham Shah, he said. You found this? Zara nodded, handing it over. He checked the contents, then looked up. You didn't take a single note. She met his gaze. It wasn't mine to take. Arham studied her face. Most people would have kept it. I'm not most people, she said softly. He smiled faintly, pulling out some bills. Then at least take this as a reward. Zara shook her head. No, sir, I didn't do it for that. Before he could respond, she turned and walked away, her head high. Arham watched her go, an unreadable look in his eyes. He slipped the wallet into his pocket and murmured to himself. Greater than, she passed. Because what Zara didn't know was that the wallet hadn't been lost by accident. It was a test. Part 2. The test revealed. A week passed. Zara returned to her routine of classes, tutoring, and caring for her mother. The wallet incident became a quiet memory, something she didn't brag about, but carried within her like proof that doing right still mattered. Then one afternoon, as she packed her books after class, her phone buzzed with a message. Greater than, you are invited for an interview at Shaw Industries Group, 10 a.m. tomorrow, HR department. Her heart skipped. Shaw Industries, but she hadn't applied anywhere. Maybe it was a mistake. Still, she decided to go. What harm could it do? The next morning, she arrived early, her only formal outfit freshly ironed. The glass building seemed even more intimidating in daylight. A polite receptionist led her to a conference room, where she waited nervously, clutching her small resume. Moments later, the door opened. Arham Shah stepped in. Zara froze. Sir, you. He smiled slightly. Good morning, Miss Zara. I don't understand. I didn't apply for a position here. I know, he said, sitting across from her. I asked HR to call you. Zara blinked. You did, yes. He leaned forward. That wallet you returned, it wasn't really lost. I dropped it on purpose. Her eyes widened. You, what? I do it every few months, Arham said calmly. It's a way to find honest people. You'd be surprised how rare honesty is these days. Zara sat speechless. So, it was a test. He nodded. And you passed, better than anyone else has in years. He reached for a folder and slid it across the table. This is an internship offer. It's for bright students from difficult circumstances. It comes with a monthly stipend and a chance for a full-time job later. Tears welled in her eyes. Sir, I don't know what to say. Say yes, he said, smiling. You've already proven your worth. Zara's hands trembled as she signed the papers. When she left the building that day, the world seemed brighter, lighter. For the first time in years, she felt her future shift toward hope. Months passed. Zara thrived in her new role. She worked hard, stayed late, and never complained. Her honesty and determination caught the attention of every supervisor, and often, of Arham himself. One evening, as the office emptied, Arham found her still at her desk. You're always the last to leave, he said. Zara smiled shyly. There's always something to learn, sir. He nodded approvingly. You remind me of myself years ago. Hardworking, hungry, but not for money. For purpose. She blushed. I just don't want to waste the chance you gave me. You earned it, he said quietly. And you've reminded me that integrity still exists, even when no one's watching. They stood for a moment in the soft glow of the office lights, the hum of the city below them. Zara smiled. I only did what my mother taught me. Then she raised you well, Arham said. The world could use more people like you. That night, as Zara walked home, she looked up at the glittering skyline. The same city that had once drowned her in struggle now held open doors she never dreamed of. All because she chose honesty over desperation. She had returned a wallet thinking it was a small act of decency, never realizing it was the key to her destiny. And somewhere high above, in his corner office, Arham Shah watched the rain begin again, a faint smile on his lips. He knew he'd found something far more valuable than money. He'd found character.